Well, first of all, what kind of mythical powers does a Sun Devil have? We got to consider that.
You all don't remember the Georgia Southern game, do you?
You know, I hope there's Bigfoot. I don't think there is.
Like rat poison. All right, so
It's Division One football. Hit it, murals.
All right, welcome back to the Hoppy Huddle podcast. My name is Jake. That's Ed. Today we are doing Week 7 college football reactions. It was a eventful weekend, I have to say. We made it out to the Auburn, Georgia game. Definitely got some takes from that. There's also one major coaching job that opened up and a whole bunch of game results that we've got to talk about.
Yeah. We didn't make it out of the weekend without probably one of the biggest coaching firings of the weekend. James Franklin is out at Penn State as a result of his team's loss to Northwestern, the upset on Saturday, the third in a row at Penn State. I think, we didn't think he would necessarily be fired immediately. We thought, okay, maybe it was just a bad season. After that loss, looked like it was going to be just one of those bad years. And Penn State said, enough's enough. We're not going to take losing 3 games in a row. What a shocker.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising to me. But in the same way, you kind of understand where they're coming from, where I didn't think they would do it, but you kind of had to do it because this is a bottom fallout scenario for Penn State. This is not, they had a tough stretch of games and they just lost all 3 of them, and that, maybe they'll go 8-4 this year. No, they had one game that was tough, and then they lost to 2 of the worst teams in the Big Ten. And if you watch those games, they did not look like they cared. They didn't look like they were trying. They didn't look like they cared. They had mailed it in. They put it all on the Oregon game. They lost. And honestly, part of it's not just that they lost those upset games. It's that they had everything lined up, right? And you kind of, with James Franklin, there had always been other variables you could point to on why he hadn't reached the peak level for his program. But they had one of the best offensive coordinators in the country, one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. The quarterback that they wanted. They had everything. And it came down to it. The team collapsed, and it was a culture problem. And that starts as a reflection of their head coach. And he's done a lot of good for the Penn State program. But that culture falling out is squarely on his shoulders.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and he won't be unemployed for long. There's going to be a lot of jobs open this fall, winter, fall, I guess. He will get snatched up by somebody if he wants to coach again. There is offset language. Well, or TV. There is offset language in Penn State's contract. So when we heard it yesterday, we were going, oh my gosh, $50 million. There's direct offset language. So I think I read it today that if he, for instance, I think it's $8 million. If he makes $7 million, let's say he gets a job, let's say he gets paid $6 million a year. Penn State only owes him $2 million.
There's also a clause in there where he has to look for a job in TV or coaching.
Yes.
If he just sits, I think it's like half or something.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think, and we can talk more about what jobs might be open another time. I don't know. To me, UCLA, out of the open jobs right at the moment, UCLA would seem to be the best fit, in my opinion. But who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
see what other jobs are going to open up. So,
yeah, he'll definitely.
I don't think he'll take the UAB job.
No, he'll definitely be in demand as far as the jobs on the market go.
Yeah.
And we can talk about candidates in a little bit, but let's talk about the games. We've got some games to break
let's
down.
Talk about the game of the day between the 2 highest ranked teams. I think what many people think was an upset. Indiana went into Oregon and put it to them.
Yeah, and so I have to be honest, and I think I'm kind of with most of the college football world on this. I didn't see this coming. I saw, maybe a scenario where Indiana sort of mystery wheel, luck boxes their way into a victory over Oregon, and they get a couple turnovers and they get some, a couple random explosives, and then they maybe, keep it close enough to the end and get a lucky victory. But that's not what this was today. This was Indiana manhandling and being the absolute better team than Oregon.
Yeah.
This was no question. There was no debate about this. And I think, to be fair to Oregon, you probably have to downgrade them a little bit after seeing how
What's
Penn
their
State,
best win?
Yeah, Penn State.
Okay.
Right. And I'm saying we probably have to downgrade them after what has happened to Penn State. But to keep it on Indiana for a second, they've arrived. And this is not and they've arrived somewhere where they've never been before. This is the English longbowmen discovering archery, right? This is the Mongols discovering horses. This is Prometheus coming down from the heavens and giving man fire. That is what it is at Indiana football right now. They've captured something, and they've never had it before. And right, what they've captured is being an elite, without question, top 5, top 3 football team in the country. There's no debate. They are a legitimate Big Ten and national title contender. And I'm not even being facetious. Oregon has legit NFL guys all over their roster. And you know what? It's not just Oregon that has legit NFL guys all over their roster. Indiana does as well. They lined up with them. They didn't look bullied. They didn't look scared. They took some punches in the mouth. They punched them right back. And they won by double digits in Eugene.
You remember how I said Oregon was my pick to win the national championship in 2026? Well, this is where they looked like that pick. Indiana looked like a team of men versus Oregon looked like just not quite ready for prime time yet. Indiana, this game, if you'd have asked me last week, give me a scenario where Indiana wins, I would have thought, well, hey, Indiana's going to score some points. They're going to eke out a tough victory, but it's going to be a high-scoring game. I did not think they would just punch them in the mouth. And they held Oregon's – and listen, Indiana didn't have a great offensive game. I mean, go look. I mean, this was not
it wasn't. I mean, they scored 30 points, but it wasn't.
But this wasn't Mendoza throwing for 300 yards and them running for 250. This was a very just kind of below average offensive output. This was the defense that really got on this game. And Oregon's, I mean, this was a 30-20 game, but really that one touchdown there to get it close was an interception throw by Mendoza.
Yeah, you're right. I
mean, Oregon really didn't do much offensively, really from the first quarter on. This was hats off to Signetti and what he's got these guys believing in.
Mendoza was 20 for 31 for 215 with 1 touchdown and 1 pick.
It's an okay day, and that pick was a pick 6. It's an okay day. It is enough to get them done, but it wasn't. It was the Indiana defense that kept Oregon in check, and Oregon offense that, quite frankly, we thought was pretty devastating. Of course, now we look back at their opponents and going, well, maybe they weren't playing the level of caliber. But Indiana, this was to go on the road. That's a tough environment in Austin Stadium. That's a big deal. And now Indiana, you're looking ahead and you're going, okay, there's nothing stopping this team from being competitive and winning a national title.
And that's kind of insane to say, right? This is something that I just want to emphasize that we've never seen in college football history in the modern era, right? Like, it's hard to even put it into perspective because I can't think of a time when I'm alive, and I can't think of a time off the top of my head from my college football history knowledge where a program that was historically the absolute bottom barrel of the conference and the country immediately hires a new guy, and within 2 years is competing for a conference championship, top 5 poll ranking. Where I can't even comprehend the scenario. It took Oregon 10 years to go from not a factor to a national title factor, right? And that was with insane Nike money, and they were go. Oregon was optimize. They were early on everything, and it took them 10 years, right? Indiana, it took them 2, and it's kind of amazing. It's something to say about the transfer portal era as well, but it's a testament to Signetti as a coach He's just a good ball coach. Like there's no
Yeah.
way around it. He knows ball. He's had a lot of experience at a lot of places. He's a good coach. He's relentless. He's ruthless. He's ruthless in a way that I have not. It kind of reminds me of Saban in just the way that he just wants to cut people's throats out. And I think Will Stein has not Will Stein. Dan Lanning has that gene as well, which is why it was so surprising that Kurt Signetti just took it to him like that.
Yeah. Their schedule got with Penn State falling off. Their schedule is now ridiculously easy. They don't play USC. They don't play Nebraska. They don't play Ohio State. They get a road test at Maryland, which I think could be tricky. You never know.
Yeah, Maryland is going to be within 3 points of winning every game, apparently, this season.
I don't know if Penn State will have any life left in them. Wisconsin's for dead. Purdue's not going to give them a challenge.
UCLA might give them a challenge.
Yeah, but that's at home. I don't think Indiana should have any problems. I mean, this team will likely be 12-0, would be my guess.
Yeah, that would be my guess. 12-0, headed to the Big Ten title game for their date with Destiny, the rematch versus
Are you calling Ohio State Destiny now? I mean, is that what we're calling? Okay.
I mean, let's be real.
We probably should. So anyway,
they seem like Ohio State seems like the team of destiny. We'll get to them in a minute.
And I think for Oregon, they're still probably a playoff team at this point. I don't think they're just dropped a notch. And I still think they're going to be my favorite. They're probably going to be my favorite preseason going into next year, especially if Dante.
They're just not a top 5 team, and Indiana is
probably not a top 5 team. They're probably top 10. So yeah,
yep,
absolutely. Okay, all right. Do we want to go to another game? Oh wait, I'm clapping. Yeah. So
guys, it's a clap. I swear, it's a clap, guys. We talked Georgia, Auburn, Deep South.
Yeah, since we were there, let's talk about that game.
We were at the game. This was the worst officiating job I have seen in
ever
5 years, probably all the time that I've watched college football. It's certainly up there. This was unbelievable. You cannot explain to me how any of those refs should still be employed. This was a complete screw job by the referees against Auburn. They absolutely would have won this game. The 2 calls that stick out to everybody on Twitter were the Kirby going up to a ref, going like this and yelling timeout, and then the ref stopping the play to avoid the delay of game, which had happened. The play clock had expired. And then they say, oh, it wasn't a timeout. He was just talking about clapping. He was saying the teams were clapping. And so we're not going to charge him a timeout, and we're just going to reset the play clock. I'm sorry. You can't do that. That's not how these games work. You can't just get a free delay of game penalty. That's ridiculous. And then the other one was the obvious, where it seemed pretty clear that Arnold was over the goal line with the ball. You could see it down the goal line, the goal post, the pylon cam. And it really looked like he had crossed it. I see most people on Twitter and most people on the internet kind of agreed on this. But I just want to step back. Those were not the only 2 calls that went against Auburn this game. There was egregious holding on the Georgia offensive line. Auburn was getting consistent pressure. We had said Georgia didn't have good pass blocking. And they didn't. They just absolutely mauled. Now, they did eventually start calling it in the third quarter. After it got ridiculous, but there was at least 4 times in the first half of this game where they were not calling stuff. And Auburn had 100-something penalty yards. This was a horribly officiated refereeing game. I'm not one to say, oh, the refs are on the take, but this was just atrocious.
Way too many reviews. They're reviewing everything. There was no flow to the game.
And also, this was the same crew that screwed Auburn in the Oklahoma game.
Yes. Yes, it was.
So if I were Auburn, I'd be filing some petitions right now. I'd be filing some petitions. I'd be like, I want heads. I would not be satisfied with
this
anything
game
less
was
than the dismissal of this referee crew.
This game was over.
Football.
That was a touchdown by Jackson Arnold. It's 17-0. You're going into half.
And it may cost Hugh Freeze his job.
The game's over. The game's over. I mean, Georgia's dead at 17-0. I don't think Georgia's scoring 17 points at that point. But here's the other problem. I mean, and again, so Auburn, total screw job. Okay.
And it may cost Hugh Freeze's job. It
may. But then what was, and did I text you this afterwards? I can't remember if I was texting you.
Their offense did collapse in the second half. That is
their offense. I mean, literally, you feel bad
true.
for them, but they did not do anything after the halftime. I mean, they literally, so what is that at that point? Is that a sign of just mental weakness of that team? That they were all just so upset. They just got broken.
I have a better idea, which I think is Auburn is extremely limited on offense, and they squeezed all the juice out of the orange they possibly could to get those 17 points, and Georgia's good with making halftime adjustments, and that was all she wrote, right?
Yeah,
there was no
and defensively, just Georgia held them in a box the second half, and so. Hugh Freeze is So now you get to the Missouri game this week for Auburn, and that feels like a must win for Hugh to save his job, because if they lose that, you've still got Vandy, you still got Bama on the schedule, and then
they could very much lose to Vandy.
It puts a lot of pressure. I mean, Hugh Freeze is getting dangerously close here, and that's a place. Could James Franklin end up there? I don't think so. I think John Summerall seems to be the one that they're all would end up there.
I've also heard Rhett Lashley, former Gus protege.
Yeah, Rhett Lashley and John Summerall. Yeah, either one of those. They seem to be the ones that everybody in the Auburn community is
they'd also like Lane, but I don't know if
Lane's not going. I don't think Lane's taking the Auburn job. But so you got to feel bad for Auburn. Auburn is 2-3 plays away from being 5-1 and a top 10 team in the country.
Yeah. And they might not fire Hugh. Let's be real.
And they may not.
Hugh can win some of these games, and even if he doesn't, maybe they don't fire him, and maybe they're just like, all right, screw it. We're going to go bid on the kid from California. We're going to pay him $10 million, and we're going to, next year.
But it feels like they've got to win 2 out of those. They should win the other games. They've got to win 2 out of these 3 games and at least go 8-4.
Yeah, I probably need to improve from last year and go 8-4. You're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
All
right. So I was not able to be on the predictions or preview podcast Thursday.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately.
So you did say I did watch a little of the podcast, and you said at the beginning you were going to give everybody my picks, but you didn't.
I didn't, because I was slacking off. So
that's okay. I understand. When I'm not there, things fall apart. I get it.
I can vouch for these picks, though. They were texted to me ahead of time. So,
but can we talk about my one team that I've been on and you just are not a believer in? And they just went out and kicked some butt.
Well, I think you have to be clear. Past tense, was not a believer.
Now are you a believer now?
Yes.
Are you starting to?
Better late than never. All right. I am open to changing my mind when presented with new data. All right.
I think Lincoln
new
Riley,
data has been presented.
New data is presented. Lincoln Riley has presented the facts, and USC is a good football team.
USC is a dang good football team.
They bottled up Bryce Underwood. They scored, and I kind of thought they'd be in the 25 to 33, 35 range.
They cooked them. They absolutely cooked them.
They did. I am concerned. Bryce Underwood looked pretty bad. Honestly, they did what they do, and it's not a great USC. The strength of this USC team is on the offense. It's not on the defensive team. But I thought they did well. I am concerned. Who's the running back? Is it Jack? Which one got hurt? Is it Jackson or is it Jordan?
Shoot.
One of them got hurt, and he's going to be out a little while. So that's going to be a problem.
I don't remember. Somebody got hurt. Yeah.
But it was a kind of a must win with the USC fan base. A loss here would have really put USC. They have a tough schedule, but this was a big win for them, a decisive win, and certainly as far as the Big Ten goes, could end up deciding. Again, who may be that 4th team from the Big Ten. If we think Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, this could be one of those tiebreaker kind of games.
Yeah,
it was a nice win for USC.
And I'd also like to say, Bryce Underwood is pretty much kept under wraps. Even with that, he still had 207 yards, 2 touchdowns. 15 of 24 was not fantastic, but
Yeah.
that dude needs some receivers.
Oh,
You get him
we
some,
said this. We
yeah,
said this early in the year. Yeah,
yeah.
they got to go to the portal and get some receivers.
They need to go out there. They need to bid on some receivers. They need to bring in some dogs. And if they can get those are some receivers to him with that rushing attack, that'll be an offense, man.
Hey, let me tell you what. If you get head coaching changes at Florida and Auburn, there's going to be receivers on the market.
Oh man, you are, yeah. That's very true.
Because I don't think all the teams will keep all the teams they have. For USC, big game. Yeah, they go to Notre Dame this week. So you got to do two things. One, you could end Notre Dame's season, their rival, longtime rival. They can end their season today because Notre Dame does not play anybody else of any caliber. And the third loss for Notre Dame just kills their playoffs. But for USC, it's also important because that is a quality win. And they've still got Nebraska, Iowa, Oregon, and UCLA on their schedule. Their schedule is not easy.
Yeah.
So they need to keep winning here because I don't know. I mean, we're going to have to see if a 3-loss team from the SEC or Big Ten is going to get in. It could get interesting this year with 3-loss teams.
Yeah, it'll depend on what happens in the ACC and Big 12.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to wonder if Texas Tech goes 12-0 and then someone beats Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship. Does that?
I think they probably don't get left out.
No, I don't think Texas Tech gets left out, but you have a bid stealer.
Right. And same thing in the ACC. If an ACC team,
you'd have to have somebody. I don't think anybody's going to beat Miami.
But if an undefeated team gets the title game.
Well, yes. Yeah. Could you have Georgia Tech? Yeah.
Georgia Tech.
So there's some craziness that could happen. But let's just say Texas Tech and Miami end up winning out. Then I think a 3-loss team could be in play from either the SEC or the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So I think you don't want to be a USC or an LSU. You want to stay at 2 losses at the worst. So all these teams that have 1 loss got to be real careful at this point. So
speaking of 3-loss teams, how about the Seminoles, man? Yikes!
Yeah,
losing to Pitt.
we said it last week. We questioned whether this team's going to hang together for Mike Norvell, and they just, I don't know their talent enough. I mean, I think it was Bud Elliott on the Cover 3 podcast said it. We were listening. I think were you and I listening, or maybe I was listening separately when I was flying home. If you take, maybe it was Ari Wasserman on Andy and Ari on 3. If you flip the Alabama game, give them an Alabama loss, but give them back a win versus Pitt or UVA, are Florida State fans as upset?
I don't know. I think probably because you're still a 3-loss team going in, because you still got one of those losses, right?
Yeah.
And then you also don't have the proof of concept of the high. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. But it could get ugly there in Tallahassee.
Before the season, we didn't think this team was that great. We thought they were going to be 7-5, probably.
Yeah, it could get ugly here in Tallahassee if they don't get things sorted.
I still think they're a 7-5 team.
Also, shout out to Mason Heintenshell,
the freshman quarterback,
the quarterback for Pitt. That dude's a dog, man. He went off.
Yeah,
21 for 29, 321 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. But man, that guy,
your future Penn State quarterback. Oh no,
maybe no, man, that'd make Pitt fans angry. He's a dude, man. They got one there in Pitt.
Yeah. So if you think about, Florida State. I mean, I think in the preseason we didn't have expectations they would go 10-2 or 11-1. I don't think. Now we're just getting back maybe to reality. The rest of their schedule, honestly, they could lose a couple more, but they could also win out. And I mean, the only team of their that's going to have better talent on the field is probably Florida, maybe Clemson, probably. But we don't know what to get with Clemson.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
they could still finish 9-3, and it wouldn't be a bad year.
Yeah. If they finish 9-3, that they've salvaged the season, but they got to win out for that.
They do. They're probably 8-4 is what my guess is. And we don't know what Florida's going to be at the end of the season, especially if Billy Napier's gone at that point. We don't know what effort you're going to get from the Gators.
Yeah. Ohio State eviscerated and handled Illinois pretty well.
Yeah.
Can
we go ahead and hand them the trophy? I'm beginning to get
them or Miami,
feeling,
man. Them or Miami.
I'm just starting to get the feeling that their defense is elite. unbelievably elite.
They gave up
And their
3
offense,
points in the first half.
yeah,
And that point, it was 20-3. And then they maybe let off the gas and let them get, 7 and 6 in the third and fourth quarters.
I think the only thing that gives me hope is that anything can happen in college football on any day.
Yes.
And no team is that invincible that just sometimes you get a couple of turnovers and the right momentum. But man, this team looks good. I mean, they just the back end on that secondary, you just can't find openings to throw against them. And then
Caleb Downs is everywhere.
yeah. I don't care what NFL team. I know there's going to be some great talent, some people to draft, but man, if I'm an NFL team, I want that guy on my team. I want him. He's going to be back.
And I know he's a safety, and I know NFL teams don't want to draft safeties that high. But man, he is the best player in college football. He will be the best player in the NFL draft this year, and you should draft him number 1.
He'll be there for 10 years, sitting back there in someone's secondary and just creating havoc.
And they're not going to. Somebody is not going to draft him number 1. The Browns are going to pass over him for another retread quarterback, and somebody at like 6 or 9 is going to get him, and they're going to be like, they're going to get a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's
good. But Ohio State looks good. Sayan is proven to be everything we thought. They're not asking him to do but so much, but he's doing it very well. They've got the best receivers. They just look like a championship
Jeremiah
team.
Smith is insane.
Now again, could they lose? Yes, but right now they're looking almost unstoppable.
And you got to remember though that the teams are more compressed this year than they have been normally. We don't know. It's kind of too early to tell if this is the new normal in college football or this is just like this year or this couple of years. Things ebb and flow, but there are a lot more good and great teams that are closer to those elite teams than there are in normal years. So it's not impossible that Ohio State trips up and loses to somebody. And if that happens in the playoff, then they're not national champions.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, last year they lost 2 in the regular season and then turned it on in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you just can't,
and they are going to face some teams. They're going to face some teams with good enough quarterbacks to threaten them.
Yeah, exactly. So, the other big game of the day, which I know you and I were watching together, was down in the SEC, Alabama, Missouri. Tell me a little bit about what
I thought you were talking about Red River
game.
Shootout.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, Alabama, Missouri. Man, I feel like Eli Drinkwitz is just the king of the min-maxers. He is absolutely just maximizing every possible edge and everything that he can do to get ahead for the Missouri program. And it's just not enough when you're going against Ty Simpson. And man, they played him really tight. They played him close. They got good pressure on him. Everyone's like, if you get pressure on Ty Simpson, you can't throw the ball. They got pressure on him. They got to him a couple times, but he got the ball out. He read the defense. He made his checkdowns. He completed, 0 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, 74% completion. Ty Simpson's probably at this point your prohibitive favorite for the Heisman would be my guess.
We'll see. Yeah,
I don't know. That would be my guess. Things can change quickly in the Heisman race, but Alabama looked really good. Again, we still kind of like they did allow pressure on Ty Simpson. So it's like still kind of don't believe in Alabama's O-line at that level. Caden Proctor is cool as a gadget guy, but it's not. He's the best part of their offensive line. They're a little weaker at the other spots. I will say Bo Pribula, he came back down to earth a little bit. He is a good quarterback. He's a good college quarterback. He depends on that play action, on that run game, on making quick throws. He's not a guy you really want to sit back there and do the traditional drop back and then read the defense and release it. You want him running the ball. You want him run read options, quick throws, RPO, play action, that kind of stuff. That's kind of where I'm at with Pribula. Ahmad Hardy's a dude. That guy is insane.
Yeah. They kept him pretty well in check this game, though. He only rushed for 52 yards. Jan Miller got hurt at the end of this game. I think it was a concussion. I think that's what the issue
He was
is.
also unstoppable, by the way. Jan Miller ran through that Missouri defense.
And when Jan Miller's in there, this Bama offense looks different. When he's out, they struggle to run, which means that puts more pressure on Ty Simpson. I think that was a problem with the Florida State game. It'll be interesting to see if he's out for any kind of extended period of time, what that means. They play Tennessee this week. If Jan Miller's out, I'm wondering how that's going to impact Bama. I think they could lose that game if Jan Miller is.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting game.
Yeah, Bama clearly looks like they're a team that on the right day could challenge among the best in the country. They certainly have the capabilities.
Yeah.
So I would not shock me if they're in the.
I'd say they look pretty much almost as good as Indiana.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know.
Crazy statement.
I know, crazy.
But it's true.
Well, let's stay in the Southeast Conference. Let's talk about the Red River Shootout, and that's what we will call it on the show forever. We will not call it by any other name.
Yeah.
Boy, that was the stunner of the day as far as I was concerned. I did not see that one coming.
Yeah, and you didn't really even see it coming after the first half either. 6-3 at halftime, Oklahoma up. They didn't score a single point in the second half. Oklahoma's offense just stalled. Texas halftime adjustments, whatever they made, seemed to work on Mateer. They couldn't get a running game going. The running game's still been a problem for Oklahoma.
It's been a problem all year. We talked about it from day
I do
one.
think Mateer is still clearly hurt. Like he just didn't run with the same fearless tenacity that he normally runs between the tackles, like a bat out of hell, like fearless right between the tackle. And he was not quite doing that to the level that he was against Michigan or some of these other teams. So I think that injury is definitely a factor. Despite that, they still couldn't, get a pat. They couldn't get a touchdown in the second half. Couldn't get a touchdown all game. They struggled. Their defense is pretty good. And Arch had a pretty good game.
He didn't make the big mistakes. He was efficient, but they really didn't.
Bad.
He threw 166 yards. I mean, he basically 6 yards in a 10.
He was a game manager.
He was
but he managed the game
manager today. Yeah.
But he managed the game, and
they let Texas defense do the work. And on an injured quarterback, that was enough. That was big disappointment for Oklahoma. I thought this was a chance for them to really, after last year's butt whooping, a chance for them to kind of let their defense shine. And I think you're right. I think Mateer was still just hurt. And I think they felt like that was their best shot was with Mateer, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah, and to give Oklahoma's defense some credit, I mean, you held them to 23 points. Like
one was a punt return. So
really you held them to
17.
17. That should be enough. Like that should be
generate
enough.
Offense. You could
if you can't score 20 points, then that, what else can you really do? You can't expect the offense only scored 6 points. You're going to hold them to 3 points the whole game.
Yeah, that's unreasonable. Not with the Stark offense.
So I don't really put this on the Oklahoma defense. I still think their defense is elite.
That to me, it falls on. Yeah, you're right. It's the Oklahoma offense, and I think that a healthy Mateer may be a different story. We're not going to know how much was health and how much was just.
And we don't know. Oklahoma, I think if they can get healthy, who do they play next?
Well, they got a rough stretch. I mean, they do not have.
They play at South Carolina next. I think they should win that one. They should win that one.
South Carolina is clearly not very good, but then they get Ole Miss, Tennessee, Bama, Missouri, LSU.
Yeah, so their fate is still in their hands. If I were Oklahoma, I would, if at all possible, rest Mateer against South Carolina.
Hey, and don't for a second think that Venables isn't on the hot, could be a hot seat or gone too. I mean, if they drop 4 or 5 of these, he could be on the hot seat.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong there. But again, they could, if Mateer gets back to full health, you could see them winning 4 or 5 of those.
You wonder if they just had held him, if hindsight being 2020, if they shouldn't just held him out of this game, got Hawkins the backup, just let him play against South Carolina, just to have Mateer ready for Ole Miss.
Yeah, it was one of those things you can never know. But anyway, with Texas, on the Texas side of it, I think this is a good win for them. It's a good win for Sark, kind of steady the ship. Things are, things were teetering a little bit for the season, and so everything's you got the win, you beat your rival. You got a pretty easy next 2 games: Kentucky, Mississippi State. Mississippi State, had some threatening, but we're probably pretty sure they should
And
beat
then
them.
they get the gauntlet in November, which is there's no more room for error for them.
Yeah. Then they get Vanderbilt, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas A&M.
And Arkansas will be a feisty game because Arkansas does not like them.
Arkansas does not like them. It is who's the head coach Arkansas now? It's
Bobby Petrino.
Bobby Petrino, yeah, with that offense. Yeah. So I would say that's going to be a gauntlet for sure. Vanderbilt, Georgia, A&M are definitely going to be tough games. Arkansas, a bit feisty game. So Oklahoma and Texas both have a kind of get back game next week in conference. And I think their paths are still in front of them. For Texas, you only have 1 conference loss. You're still in the title race. You just, win out. For Oklahoma, same thing. 1 conference loss, win out. And you're in the SEC championship game. Yeah. So their future's still ahead of them, but those are some tough schedules coming up.
Yeah. We'll stay in the SEC. Texas A&M, I think, probably put the final nail in Billy Napier's coffin, coaching coffin at Florida.
He's gone.
34-17. Just
maybe
another
not
game.
This week, but he's gone.
Yeah, not this week, but it will be coming soon. Just another game where Texas A&M's offensive line just incredibly dominant. Did not allow a tackle.
Are they going to win the Joe Moore Award?
They might. I mean, they did not allow a
them
tackle
or Miami. It's them or Miami, right?
No tackle for loss.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be A&M's line or Miami's line at this point.
Yeah. Florida could not run the ball like they normally do, and that severely impacted their effectiveness. I mean, Lagway didn't have a bad game, but they just couldn't do what they needed to do.
That Elko defense is stout. Yeah. Nobody's really had glaring success against them.
No. And Texas A&M now, they're all of a sudden, they thought that draw is not as bad as you think. They do have a couple of road games coming up, and then they got the end of the year Texas, and they play LSU. But at this point, they go on the road to LSU. I got to think Texas A&M is going to be the favorite. Missouri looks kind of one-dimensional with it offensively.
Missouri could beat them.
Could on the road. I think it'll be a fascinating game. But Texas A&M certainly doesn't feel like they're going to go 8-4 this year. But you never know what could happen.
Yeah, I mean they're undefeated at this point. What are they? They top 10. What's their ranking right now? I lose track.
Yeah, they're 6-0. They're 4th in the AP.
Yeah. So is it time to talk about Texas as an SEC championship contender? They've never been to the SEC title game. Is this the year that they break the streak?
I right now I don't see anybody that's going to. I mean, who else is making the claim? I mean, their schedule is very favorable. I think. Again, depends on whether you look. Ole Miss is in that mixture, Georgia's in that mixture, Tennessee's in that mix. Who knows? Yeah. There's a lot of games to be played. It's hard to even predict this one.
Yeah. I agree.
And South Carolina overcame 2 fumbles inside their own red zone. It still managed to beat South Carolina. Yeah. Again, this South Carolina team, I don't understand why they're still ranked in the polls. They keep winning.
South Carolina's still ranked?
No, I'm sorry, LSU. LSU.
Oh, I was like
LSU. No, LSU's still ranked. They're 5-1. They're the worst 5-1 team in the nation.
They're dogs to Vanderbilt this week.
They should be. I mean, they go Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Alabama, all 3 in a row. Now, if they win all 3 of those, I will retract every statement I say about this team. But they're what? They're 5-1 now. I think
they're 1.5 point dogs at Vanderbilt. Yeah,
I think they're going to be 5-4 after the next 3 weeks. That's what I think.
Yeah, is LSU going to open? Is Brian Kelly going to be gone this year?
It's possible. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, this may, because of a lot of schools held back from last year, because they didn't know how rev share was going to go. I think a lot of people are saying that there could be a lot of coaching searches open up, a lot of jobs open up this year.
But you also may find some programs may hold back because there's so many openings this year. They may hold back and wait till next year.
Maybe, yeah,
because they don't want to be in the mix in this crazy year. So, all right, let's see what else. We go through. I guess we kind of touched on some of the Big Ten games. Yeah, speaking of jobs that are going to open, I mean, I got to believe Wisconsin's going to pull the plug at some point on Luke
Yeah.
Fickell. This has
they-
just
they
been
lost.
a disaster.
That's ridiculous.
The Nebraska Maryland game, I caught a little bit out. I got mostly the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
What an entertaining game!
Crazy game.
Nebraska. Matt Rule's name is popping up in the Penn State coaching search.
Yeah, he's a Penn State alum. He's really close friends with the Penn State AD. So, Matt Rule, not against job hopping. So I would not surprise me if he went there. Other names
and
to watch for Penn State.
Yeah, other names, I don't know. I mean, you hear anybody who wants a pay raise is going to be mentioned in that one.
Yeah. You hear Will Stein, the Oregon OC. You hear Kurt Cignetti. I don't think he would leave Indiana,
I think so.
I think he's pretty set there. They've got backing, but Penn State's probably going to call him, right?
I probably. I think everybody.
Any coach, any school looking to hire a new coach has to call Eli Drinkowitz and make him say no.
And can we say one other thing about Nebraska too? They've got USC coming to town at the end of November. Other than that, they've got the bottom of the Big Ten. Everyone else.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when you get these super conferences.
So, I mean, are we ready to say? And listen, a 10-2 Nebraska, a 2-loss Nebraska is getting in the playoff.
Maybe, yeah.
Definitely a 1-loss Nebraska is getting it. They're not a 2-loss Big Ten or SEC team is getting in the playoff because I think
I think so.
I don't think there's going to be enough 2-loss teams to go around.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, we're just going to call that one where it is right now. I think we're getting really close. That USC matchup may be for a playoff spot. ACC, I can't see with anything. SMU continues to kind of win.
UCLA beat Michigan State.
UCLA, yeah, 2 in a row. What's going on here? That's crazy.
Yeah. We talked about the Northwestern win over Penn State. Ole Miss struggled with Washington State.
Yes.
They almost lost 24-23.
Hey, it was an 11 a.m. start. They had other things on their mind. Come on.
Yeah, it's 11 a.m. start for Washington State. They flew in from Washington. What are we talking about? Yeah, that was a disappointing performance by Ole Miss.
We should let's talk about Ole Miss. It was probably looking ahead a little bit to this week's Georgia game. Would be my guess.
Maybe. Colorado upset Iowa State.
Yes.
I think, good win for them. Iowa State, I was kind of saying they were fraudulent. I've kind of been on that. They've kind of just chugged along, and we saw Kansas State wasn't very good. Some of their wins not quite as good. Good win by Colorado. Get their third win. They still could have a chance to go bowling, I think, if they could pull the right upsets. So nothing impossible for them there. Utah destroyed Arizona State. They were missing Sam Levitt. So Jeff Sims.
Yeah.
No, Jeff Sims was the quarterback for Arizona State. They did not. They got the loss there, but not out of the Big 12 race. What else? What else do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I think Texas had continued to roll against Kansas. They got 21-0. Kansas got kind of 21-17, and then they just turned on the Jets. This is starting to look like Texas Tech is going to have at least one of the slots in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah,
and then everybody's fighting for that second slot. I don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of teams with one loss right now where they're all thinking like, if I run the table, it could be me.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams believe that. So
yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a Baylor fan.
So
USF.
That was a big
crushed North Texas. Eventually, they hung with them for a little bit, and then they obliterated them. USF is looking like the team in the American. They are looking like a juggernaut. So we may be seeing the Bulls in the playoff come December.
And I don't think anybody wants a piece of them.
No, not the Viren shoot, man. That scores points like nothing else.
Yeah.
yeah, they beat Florida, and look, Florida beat Texas, and Texas was hung with Ohio State, so transitive property.
Yeah. There's going to be there's going to be some teams. There's going to find a team that's going to find them in the playoff, and they're going to have their hands full.
There's going to be a well put together roster with a middling quarterback and a mediocre coaching performance that's going to get shocked by USF, would not or pushed to the limit by USF in the playoff.
I think you're right. So
I think their style. I don't know if they're a better team than the Boise State from last year. I think because Genty was such an outstanding individual player. I think their style is more suited to a playoff upset. Than Boise State last year, because you don't rely on the trenches. You spread them out. You have a good quarterback. And what is the anatomy of an upset in college football, right? Lots of points, good quarterback, and not relying on lining up and doing it. So that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Georgia Tech beat Virginia Tech. Georgia Tech, what are they up to, 11 or 13 now? 12th in the AP poll. Dude, Brent Key, man, they just keep chugging along, keep churning out wins. They're not always the prettiest wins. They are 6-0. They are a serious ACC contender, and all that stands in their way is the rest of their schedule and Miami waiting for them in the ACC championship game, unless they slip up. So, and then if they make it there undefeated, we're going to have an interesting conversation. Well, they've got to play Georgia, but I think that Georgia game, that'll be pretty revealing based on how Georgia's played, how Georgia Tech's played. I said this during the Auburn game after watching Georgia in person. I'm going to call my shot right now. I think Georgia Tech's going to beat them this year. I think it's going to happen.
There's a lot of chance for improvement between now and then. So.
There is, but it's been a long time. I can't even remember the last time Georgia Tech beat Georgia. Was it 14? Was it Paul Johnson?
Yeah, it's been a little while.
But dude, this might be the year. This
might be Kirby's ever lost to him. So
Kirby has not. I'm like, this might be the year that Georgia Tech breaks through. And even if they don't, if they can keep it close, if they can keep it competitive, I think that would really help. That's really going to help their playoff resume, because that's probably, dude, man, if only that was on Georgia Tech's campus. That's so annoying that they don't do that.
It is. It's it's incredibly annoying.
They moved it to the Mercedes-Benz Dome in the neutral site, which is pretty annoying. But yeah, so that'll probably be a pretty highly ranked matchup come rivalry week.
Yep. So,
all right.
All righty. Well, good.
That's it's kind of what we got for today. You got anything else you want to cover?
No, we can keep going on, but no, that's it. We got another exciting. We got a good week of matchups coming ahead. Looking ahead for this week, I'm excited about.
All right, so. I'm ready to talk about them. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you get a notification when we go live. So you can join us in the live chat here. Shout out to the 1 and 2 viewers that we've had in the chat today, or in the stream today, watching, lurking. I see you there. And thank you for watching. Good night.
Good night.